of the states and the federal government in the Gulf. This is global corporate governance. Break down some of the people you got interviews with.
Sure, yeah, we really wanted to get this right from the horse's mouth, so we contacted a lot of the major players who were involved with the push towards this thing, members of the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission, and of course the Canadian Council of Chief Executives. Some of these people, for instance, are Alan Gottlieb. He is a member of the Bilderberg Group and the Trilateral Commission. He was the former ambassador, Canadian ambassador to the States from 81 to 89. So these are top-level guys. We got Robert Pastor as well to speak to us, John Manley, who is now the president of the Canadian Council of Chief Executives. And we also spoke with Herbert Grubel, who is considered the founder of, or the father of the Amero. So we really did get the opinion of these guys from the horse's mouth. Setting up these interviews, we would basically, these guys have big egos, Alex, and we would basically massage their egos. We would say, I've read your documents, I've read your books, I'm very interested to get your opinion on deeper integration between the three countries. We would never use words like North American Union because we knew that might scare them off from wanting to talk to us. And we also knew that they would be doing background checks on us. So we did keep my name out of the emails because they would have found my website, my YouTube channel. I already made a film called The Nation's Deathbed on a similar topic. So we purposely left my name out of the emails. That way we wouldn't, tip them off as to the angle that we wanted to cover.
Well, this is a major coup, and because they're admitting global government, they're admitting their plan, and you talk about this, head of this corporate body in Canada, and when you read the SPP, North American Union documents, or the EU documents, it states that they give the power to these private corporate bodies. When you read the hundreds of pages of SPP documents that Judicial Watch got, it's the heads of the top U.S. corporations, about 45 or so, the heads of the biggest Canadian corporations, and the heads of the major Mexican corporations, the real owners, and they're there agreeing on the policy and then saying, we must do this by stealth. We must have a carbon tax. We'll use a flu crisis to merge the countries. We'll use an immigrant crisis to merge the countries. We'll play groups off against each other. It's still secret what Bush signed with Vicente Fox in Texas 2 years before that at Baylor. And so we have our presidents in open treason going under total corporate governorship. And now here we are with the North American Union. They did have a press conference in 2007 on the White House lawn. This is in Endgame with Merkel, Barroso, and Bush saying we're now merging the North American Union with the American integration. They don't call it union, using code words. And so that integration's already happening. And now they've bankrupted the economy, as we said they would, having their own IMF World Bank documents, 2002 BBC. They are now merging this entire system and coming out with a new Bank of the World, naming their new global SDR currency, the Bain Core, and it's all now coming out in the open, but they still try to deny it on the nightly news to the general public. They'll come out and admit it, but then still deny it. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I confronted Paul Martin about signing the SPP in 2005. I questioned him on his Bilderberg attendance. I asked him why he signed the SPP when there was no kind of referendum on it. And he basically shrugged it off as conspiracy theory. He made a joke about being in the Bilderberg Group. So, yes, in the public eye, these guys often just shrug it off as conspiracy theory. You'll see in the film, Herbert Grubel says, I would put this concept into the same category as people who believe that Elvis Presley is still alive. So it's almost a bit of a doublespeak going on, because at one moment they will call it conspiracy theory, and then the very next moment they openly talk about this is exactly what we are doing.
Well, that's right, and you bring up that central point. That made international news when at a press conference to the Prime Minister, to the Canadian leader, you said, hey, you signed the North American Union agreement, the SPP, secretly in Texas, and he just said, oh, that doesn't exist, ha, ha, ha. When it's on record, he did it. And then separately, the CFR, written by Robert Pastor, puts out a document that Congress then tries to pass, as so-called immigration reform that is the North American ID card, and now they're offering hemispheric travel IDs in Mexico, in the U.S., and in Canada that are globally standardized. Let's talk more about the amazing documentary film, United We Fall, on the other side of this break.
Is your debt problem a ticking time bomb? Thanks to a new financial consumer relief program designed in response to the economic crisis facing millions of Americans, you don't have to wait until it's too late to defuse your debt. If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card bills and are struggling to make minimum payments, get ready to take down this number for free information that could potentially save your home, the lifestyle you're accustomed to, and your family's financial well-being. But don't wait. Studies show that if most debt problems are confronted directly, beneficial settlements, manageable monthly payments, and quick restoration of credit are more easily attained, potentially saving you thousands of dollars in interest charges, fees, and unpaid debt. Don't procrastinate. Call now for your free information and begin putting your economic house in order today. To qualify for this program, you must have $10,000 in credit card debt. Call the American Debt Associates at 800-876-2966. 800-876-2966. Again, 800-876-2966.
You worry, but only because you're paying attention. What's happening in the Gulf of Mexico illustrates an audacity toward nature. A similar audacity called GMO, or genetically modified organisms, means that the quality of commercially grown food may be compromised with our health in the balance. Now that summer's here, what better time to learn about the bounty that nature provides in wild edible food? Let author Linda Runyon show you the best-kept secret in plain sight, that food is everywhere you look. This summer, for the cost of a good meal or two out, you can literally starvation-proof yourself and your loved ones against any future craziness, and put up tons of free food, too. Whatever experiment is being run on us, you can rest assured that Linda's 50 or so staple foods aren't involved. Our foods are their enemy. So go to ofthefield.com or call toll-free 1-888-51-EAT-FREE and take that first step. Make your oasis of food security and nutrition now. That's OFTHEFIELD.com or call 1-888-513-2837. Start now and make 2010 your year of independence.
They helped to create a new world order.
We are part of a new world order.
A new world order based upon collective action.
Invisible Empire is a damning indictment of the globalists through their own words and documents.
The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It means all the world under their control.
The United Nations would take over America. The Trilateral Commission would control the world.
Invisible Empire chronicles how men of power and influence have worked in stealth for centuries to establish an oppressive world government.
I believe, first of all, that we now need nothing short of a world constitution for the global financial system.
Global governance with the establishment of the G20.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
Invisible Empire. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or watch it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Attention to all U.S. drivers who own a vehicle that has less than 130,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to our country's economic crisis and auto repair costs on the rise, if your vehicle has less than 130,000 miles, as of today, you could be one of the millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle covered under United Repair Plans and have 100% of your future covered auto repair bills paid for you. This low-cost vehicle service contract has been established under United Repair Plans and is now available to the general public in order to save drivers thousands of dollars on auto repairs during our country's recession. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, you may now call to see if your vehicle qualifies and for a free 5-minute quote. Number to call is 800-809-4491. 800-809-4491. Again, that's 800-809-4491.
Day after day, alone on a hill, the man with the foolish grin.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open the phones up for Dan Dix for the rest of the hour, dealing with Mexico being collapsed by design, the establishment 5 years ago launching a war against cartels they didn't control, knowing it would destabilize the country. The SPP documents show they wanted to use border crises to do this. It all ties together, and the magnitude of this corrupt offshore group of banks that have taken over the planet's finances through fraud Doing this by stealth is so outrageous, and if we can just expose it, it will implode. The film is United We Fall. It's available at prisonplanet.tv for members in high quality, or I suggest you support the filmmakers and us, our operation, and buy the DVD, United We Fall, $19.95. You can get a second copy, and when you buy a second copy of it to give family or friends, you get 3 films for free. Fabled Enemies, exposing 9/11, excellent film. How Weed Won the West, exposing the phony drug war and government drug dealing, and American Dictators. 3 films for free. We're running this special for 2 weeks. When you buy 2 copies of United We Fall, you get 3 films free. We have another special going. In fact, I'll show listeners this right now and then go back to our guest. And I'm only running this for 2 weeks. You know, we've been doing specials every 2 weeks. Terror Storm, How Weed Won the West, Fabled Enemies, Reflections and Warnings with Aaron Russo, and American Dictators. 5 films, $9.95. Hardcover, color cover, full-length films with extras. Even if you don't watch these and think you know it all, give them to people. $9.95, that's less than $2 a piece. People are going crazy over that special. Infowars.com. But the toll-free number to call in and talk to Dan Dix about the G20, about globalism, about what the North American Union means, how we can fight it, 1-800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Going back to Dan Dix, this is a short segment, long segment coming up, but, I mean, from their own documents, from interviewing them, from what you cover in the film, people go, well, it's part of, Star Trek that we're going to have one government. They've kind of preconditioned us with these fables, self-fulfilling prophecies, predictive programming, that this is a foregone conclusion. But this isn't a happy, lovey, utopian world government. This is a global corporate dictatorship that wants eugenics as their end game.
Yeah, well, Alex, one of my favorite scenes in the film is when we ask Robert Pastor his opinion on the idea that this North American Union could be leading towards a global governing body. And he looks at us and says, you mean one world government? And we say, yeah, what do you think about that? And just to watch him sit there and just stare at the camera and blink, and you could see the thought just going through his head. He had to choose his words very, very carefully. He didn't really know how to answer the question. And like a professional politician, he eventually kind of answered the question without actually answering the question, as they often do. But you could see that he was, stuck there. At the time, I was operating the B camera, and I just, I couldn't help but have a smile on my face. I was like, wow, this says a lot about this guy right now.
Yeah, what did he do? He paused for about 4 or 5 seconds and was blinking, literally like a deer in the headlights.
He was literally like a deer in the headlights. I think he was a little bit shocked that we would ask him such a question on camera. And I think it was a little bit more than 4 or 5 seconds. He sat there and just did not know what to say. And, that's one of my favorite scenes in the film.
Well, I mean, as I was saying, you've knocked it out of the park. You got interviews with Vicente Fox. I mean, where he admitted it's world government. Then he went on Larry King Live and said, yes, it is going to lead to a one world government. It is going to lead to a North American Union. And you did get some of the globalists to admit in the film that they do want world government.
Yeah, some of them were open about speaking about it. They wouldn't use those terms, but they would certainly say that, unity is what we need. Like, for instance, Paul Martin now, we asked them all about their concept of sovereignty as well. And each one of them said that, sovereignty has to, we have to rethink the concept of sovereignty. John Manley sat there and said, I find it amusing, people who put sovereignty in this crystal jar as if it's the be-all and end-all. So they kind of laugh off the concept of sovereignty. And Robert Pastor even went as far to say that people like myself and you are the problem. We are slowing down progress, and that we are in fear of change, which, of course, is not the case whatsoever.
No, they have a stealth, secretive, forced global government that its open goal is to, quote it, destroy industrialized society. That's Club of Rome, UN. And so this is a corporate stealth takeover. And then they bring in the paramilitary police to suppress you after they've gotten corporate control. Stay there. You've also got not just the YouTube footage, but the actual crisp, original footage of police dressed up like anarchists attacking their own officers. We're going to play the trailer. for the incredible